This is the Songwriter Connection, the award-winning elite music podcast of the year, connecting the songs and the people who write them. Welcome, songwriters, friends of the song, and fans of great music. Pull up a chair around the dining room table. From his home in Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, songwriter and storyteller, Dave Linehan.
Oh, yeah, we've got the coffee on. Help yourself. Even some cookies today.
Oh, yeah.
A very special connection for you to make today. So thank you for joining us. You know, CRS, that was last week in Nashville, and that's the country radio seminar. I didn't go this year, but I've been with them in the past, and it's always an amazing time for folks in the radio business. All the programmers and the DJs come into town, and they talk about what's happening in the industry. There are seminars, there are parties galore, I'm not going to lie, and there are shows. And I used to always love the New Faces show. The New Faces show always showed you, like, this is where it's at. These are the guys that are going to be great stars that we believe coming up. And this year at CRS, there was Chase Matthews, John Morgan, Josh Ross, Megan Patrick, and Ella Langley. My gosh, what a year she's had. And our guest today, and we are very lucky to have Kelsey Hart of Curb Records. Hi, Kelsey. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Welcome in, and I appreciate you coming here to Hermitage to be on the show.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be here. You got the cookies laid out.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. You know, have you found a way to put it into words yet when you found out you were going to be named one of the new faces in country music?
Man, just honored.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it wasn't something I was expecting. Uh-huh. And when I got that call, I've been to New Faces, a few
You've
times,
seen them, huh?
and I've seen it.
Yeah.
And
did you ever think, man, someday I'm gonna be up there?
Well, that was the hope. I'd been backstage for a few years doing interviews and got to peek in there and see what was happening on the big stage, and
Absolutely.
And just thought how cool it would be to be in there and be a part of the show.
That's cool. So you kind of manifested it, huh?
Well,
a little bit.
Maybe.
Let me tell you about this guy, and this is what I really love about Kelsey. He's a songwriter, and this is a Songwriter podcast. So you had a publishing deal before you had a record deal.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I signed with Curb Records in 2020. 2020, and it was the next year when I signed my record deal. So
isn't it something? People think you sign a record deal, and the next thing you know, you're a big star. It doesn't always work that way, does it?
Yeah. After I signed my record deal, I think it was 3 years before we had a song come out.
And what did they do? So, they just hone your craft and bring you along?
Just honing the craft and waiting to have the song or the project together that's gonna showcase you good coming out of the gate.
Now, being a songwriter, did you have a lot of control of which songs you wanted to cut, and did you do a lot of your own?
Yeah, I did a lot of my own songs. I'm always I just want the best song, no matter what. And at the end of the day, I listen to a ton of outside songs, and we'll cut an outside song over. My current radio single's an outside song.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How'd you come across that?
So one of our A&R leaders at Curb, she was at a writer's night, and she heard the song. She heard them doing it was just a writer's round, and she videoed the chorus and sent me the chorus, and I knew the guy, Barrett Baber, that was playing the song. Wow. And I texted him, and I was like, man, I'm going to need that work tape for that song. And that song hit you hard, didn't it? Because there's a lot of reality to that song. Yeah, man. I thought it was, lyrically and melodically, I thought it was incredible. And that was a really quick turnaround. I heard the song that night. A few weeks later, I got with my producer, and we got that thing turned around and at radio pretty quick. Did you really? Yeah. And it's doing pretty well right now. Yeah, it's doing well. Yeah. Can we play it? Yeah. I'd like to, right off the bat. Yeah, you want to hear fireworks right off the bat? I would love to hear fireworks. Yeah. It's a pretty cool song. Get keyed up here. Yeah, it's all right. Take your time. Are we doing this again? Girl, we're drunk, it's 2 a.m. And you know how hard it's been for us to say no. And why do we keep trying to spark the thing that broke both our hearts? When the morning comes, we're back to up in smoke. but we light up the night again. Ain't that the problem with fireworks? We'll fly so high but end up right back in the dirt, then run on back to light that fuse and never learn. Who are we to think we can play with flames and not get burned? 'Cause girl, we both know that ain't our fireworks. We say every time's the last time till I get a whiskey and you get a red wine, buzz enough to call. With that I want you and need you, then we go off like fireworks. We'll fly so high but end up right back in the dirt, then run on back to light that fuse and never learn. Who are we to think we can play with flames and not get burned? 'Cause girl, we both know that ain't our fireworks. That ain't our fireworks. And I know we shouldn't light it, but damn, we always do. And for a moment we'll be shining. Yeah, it's too bad me and you are like fireworks. We fly so high but end up right back in the dirt, then run on back to light that fuse and never learn. Who are we to think we can play with flames and not get burned? But girl, we both know that ain't our fireworks. That ain't our fireworks.
Well, it's a great song. It really is.
Thank you, buddy.
I could see why it grabbed your attention right away.
Yeah.
I love the play on words like that. You know, I mean, not only talking about fireworks that explode in the sky, but that ain't how fire works.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of cool.
I
And
thought
that's
it
really
was,
hot
man.
today in the business. Yeah, plays on words. And you know what? There's hope there because you said that was an outside song. So
Yeah.
that gives a lot of songwriters in this town a little hope. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tougher than ever to get those outside cuts because a lot of artists, even if they don't, you know, if they're not cutting their own songs or songs that they wrote, it's generally within their camp of people that they write with all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and those guys aren't, you know, I hadn't written with them a ton or anything, so it was a pretty organic, cool way for a song to kind of the old school way of it happening.
Well, it pays to play those writers' rounds, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it when I'm over at the Commodore or someplace and you see like the newer writers signing up for the open mics. I always try to talk to them and encourage them, and I love to watch them play.
Yeah.
You know, because they got stars in their eyes and they come, you know, and it's a big deal for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember the first time you did a writers' round in Nashville?
Oh man, I do, and I was a nervous wreck.
I was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because that's another thing. When I first started coming to town, that was like one of the first steps to where it's like, man, I've got to figure out how to be up on these writers' round stages, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think maybe the Tin Roof Revival
Remember those?
was probably my first one I played in probably 2017 or something.
Yeah. And it must have been a great feeling too.
It was,
You're
man.
like, hands in the air. Yes, I did.
Well, I don't know how many hands were in there at that point, but
For me, I remember the first time coming and playing an open mic at the Bluebird, and I'm like, yes, I played the Bluebird. Yeah.
oh yeah, that was me.
Called
too.
my dad. I played the Bluebird. He goes, the what? It's a big deal.
Yeah, people know about it.
Yeah, people know about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you came from Kentucky and Muhlenberg County, right?
Muhlenberg County.
Where paradise lays.
That's right.
And I've seen two different towns. So which town were you from?
So I grew up in Greenville.
In Greenville.
Yeah. And then I think probably around when I was 20 or so, my parents moved to Central City, which is about 10 miles down the road.
Okay.
So,
Real close.
and that's where they're at now. So.
Absolutely. And you were singing gospel growing up, huh?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad, he was he always sang in the choir at church. He never was like a solo singing guy or anything. He always just sang at church and
choir.
Really enjoyed gospel music. And so that's what he always had in his truck. And when I was growing up, I raced dirt bikes, and every weekend, Dad and I would go an hour to go race dirt bikes, and that was what we listened to.
Wow. Country all the way.
Just
or gospel.
All the way.
Yeah. When did you start getting into country music? Or was it always there?
I think it wasn't really always there. I think it was around like probably early high school for me. Yeah. Because it just, and honestly, it was at that time, I was listening to everything really. I mean, just rock, rap, country. And, it wasn't something that until honestly after high school, like maybe that first year or two after high school, that I was really getting into the country music.
And you started writing about that too, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't for those first couple years. I was in a hometown band, and I was probably 20, 21 years old, and still working at the barber shop, and we were just doing cover gigs. I was cutting the guy's hair that owned the pizza place down the street, and he was just like, man, he's like, I know you and your buddies have started a band. He said, I'm starting live music.
Wow.
If you guys ever want to come down here, he's like, I can't pay you much, but if you want to practice, come on down.
And it's cool to have a place like that. So the singing barber. You did cut hair, didn't you?
I did. I cut hair from right out of high school up until I signed my publishing deal.
Wow.
So that was that was my job.
That was your job?
Yeah.
Do you still do it occasionally to friends?
I cut all my the band guys' hair and my brother, and I actually cut my mom's hair too.
Do you really? Gosh, that's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Right? So when you go out on the road, have you been out on the road yet? I'm sure you have many times.
Yeah.
You'd be the guy that go, hey, trim me up a little before I go on stage.
Yeah. Well, a few times they've asked me if like, hey, you bring your clippers with you, and we usually do it at my house in the garage.
Kelsey Hart is our guest, and I'll tell you, as a songwriter's had some darn good success. He's had cuts, and I meant to mention this earlier. Jake Owen, Trace Adkins, Dylan Scott, all have cut your songs. Can you remember the feeling the first time you heard one of those cuts?
Oh man, yeah. So the first one, this is kind of a funny story. So
see, I love these stories.
Yeah. So the first song, it was one of my first writes in town. And I was walking into Sony Records, and
that was your first write in town at Sony.
It was one of them, and
whoa,
they it wasn't because I created the situation. Laurel Kittleson set me up with the write. She was very she was guiding me early on, and she set me up with that write. Mm-hmm. But I opened the door, and Bill Anderson opened the door for me,
whispering Bill
to come in. And so that was kind of like my intro to being in Nashville, was Bill Anderson opening the door.
And he's a great guy. Just the nicest person.
Seems like the nicest guy. I'm not. That was my only interaction I've ever had.
Really? Yeah.
But I was still just like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he opens the door for me. We go upstairs, and the guy that I at the time, he was producing some of my stuff, my early on stuff. He brought me in on this write that they had already started for Jake Owen.
Oh wow!
And so they pretty much kind of had it fleshed out, and I'm like the new guy in the room that Laurel's like said, hey, take this guy on,
But I imagine it was more than a word for a third, as we say.
Well, it was probably not much more than a word. It was early on. But they called me a couple weeks later. I'm in the barber shop cutting hair, and they called me, and they're just like, hey, Jake Owen's cutting that song.
Whoa.
And I remember like looking over at my buddies in the barber shop, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, Jake Owen's cutting the song that we wrote.
Yeah.
And he was just like, man, and just so you know, he's like, it don't always happen like this.
It does not.
And it didn't.
It does not.
For years after. But that first write, that was I say first. It was early on. One of the first, but
one of the first.
That was the first one.
I got you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So you just got to keep doing it, huh? Do you still keep a busy writing? I imagine things have gotten so busy for you in the past few weeks.
Yeah. It's honestly, since I've been out on the road, I mean, I'm still writing a couple times a week at least.
Good.
But we've, my wife and I, we just had a baby back in December.
Congrats.
Thank you, man.
I was going to work to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we, since she's here, I've kind of tried to be, I'm even, doing like writers retreats to where we can,
Love those.
we can bulk write. And
Yep.
then I can be home more like during the week.
Oh, that's so good.
Because a lot of stuff goes on during the week, and that's kind of my time to try to spend some time with her and the baby, and
Oh, that's so great.
trying to make the best use of my time.
Here's a deep dive question. What's harder, being a new dad or a curb record recording artist?
Oh man, well I will say the first 12 weeks of a new baby is tough. Yeah, the sleep schedule and everything, and of course my wife, it's way tougher on her being the one feeding her all the time.
She's got a beautiful name. Your wife. Let's start with your wife. What's
Yeah,
her name?
Omni.
Omni.
Yeah,
I've not heard that before, but what a beautiful name.
yeah, she does. Her mom came up with that, and I've never met another Omni.
Me neither. Wow. And your daughter?
Yeah, Coast.
Now, that brings me to this song that I want to play next, or maybe have you play. Did you write on this song? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Anything Like You.
Anything Like You.
Yeah.
First time I heard that, I'm like, wow. Man.
Yeah.
Tell me about the writing of that song.
Yeah, so this was a couple months before Coast was born. Adam Craig and I got together to write, and his baby was due like that next month.
Oh, my God.
And then Coast was due in December. And, that's pretty much all we were talking about that day. And before we started writing was just, the new baby stuff. He's already had a kid, so he was like, filling me in on what to expect and like how, this is, and
a daddy mentor.
Yeah, he was a dad mentor for sure. And I think I was just like, he asked me like what I was most excited about. And I was like, man, I'm just excited to see, what she's going to look like, how she's going to be.
So you knew it was going to be a girl.
Her personality.
Yeah.
And Adam was just like, well, just, look at her mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, she's anything like her mom. I was like, man.
Isn't it funny? So many times a song will come out of a conversation like that. Not about what you were going to write that day, but just it happened, and you go, oh, we're writing that, right?
Yeah.
Was that kind of a moment for you?
Oh, it was. I mean, we didn't go in there planning on writing a baby song. It was just that came from him and I just sitting there talking. And
can you take us through the process then from there? You've got an idea now.
Yeah. So we had the idea, and that one, it was a pretty fast write for the first verse and chorus, and then one of us, I think we had to leave that day, and I went home and was just living with it, and I was. We were thinking about what we were going to put out next anyway. Mm-hmm. And, with Coast being a few months away, I was like, man, this would be really cool if we can finish this thing up and get it out.
Yeah. And
so that, like, maybe a couple days later, Adam and I and Mike Mobley jumped on a Zoom.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Zoom.
Just because it was tough with our schedules to get back together.
Yeah.
And we knocked out the second verse, and that was another one that was... I was like, Adam, we got to finish this verse because we're going in to cut this thing like in like 3 days.
Wow.
I was like, and it's not done.
It's not done. Oh, I got to get
so
on. Yeah.
we tied it up and got that thing recorded.
That's great. It's one you can play for us.
Yeah, I can try. I haven't played it much, but we'll see.
I can play it off of Spotify if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, maybe play that one on Spotify.
Okay. We'll give you a spin here. You get like how many spins? How many fractions of a penny for every spin?
Yeah.
Anything Like You. This is really a wonderful song.
Oh, thank you.
Seven down, 2 to go till I'm 10 and 2. Driving home, some precious cargo in a car seat, and a whole lot of scared out in front of me. Am I gonna get it right? I don't know. But if she's anything like her mama, yeah, I know how that'll go. She'll have me wrapped around her finger from the first time. She looks up with them, got them from your brown eyes. Steal my heart in my arms like you know first time. She looks up with them, got 'em from your brown eyes. Steal my heart in my arms like you know who. If she's anything like you, I won't even stand a chance. I'll be done with. How am I gonna have any kind of heart left? I'm gonna have a hell of a lot of loving to do. If she's anything like you, if she's anything like you, if she's anything like you.
That's an incredible song, my friend. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
And it's one of those personal songs, which begs me to ask, have you ever written a song that you felt was just too personal to cut?
I don't think so.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think the personal ones that I've written, I'd put out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I always felt that. Somebody once told me, if it's personal to you and it means something to you, it's going to mean somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my mom, she said multiple times. She's like, quit singing them drinking songs and sing something sweet.
Yeah. Well, it is country music. We got to do occasional drinking songs.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, Mom, we got, we're playing festivals and
That's right.
stuff. I was like, they're ready to drink.
They're ready to party.
Yeah, they're ready to party.
So you got to rile them up. You really do.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Do you love playing in front of a live audience?
I do. I mean, it's my favorite thing to do. I've always loved to sing and perform.
Yeah.
And, the writing side of it wasn't something when I got to town that I thought, I just being, naive to the whole thing. I was just like, well, I'll go down there and I'll get some songs and start singing them and go on the road. And,
So you came as a performer first.
As a singer, I definitely wouldn't call myself a performer because I hadn't spent enough time on the stage, yet. But
that was back of your mind.
That was in the back of my mind, and that's really was my focus when I first got to town. But once I started writing and really learning that process, and the better the songs got, just the more I kind of kept just trying to beat them.
Yeah.
And those first 4 or 5 years, I think every time I would get ready to go, to put out a song, the next week we'd write something and I'd just be like, I think that's probably better. And I went through that for a pretty good bit of time, until I landed on some that I felt good enough about putting out.
So learning the process, the whole thing, did you have a mentor to help you, or just from learning all these cover songs and playing out?
Yeah. Did you say a mentor to help me?
Yeah.
I would say my biggest mentor early on was Laurel Kittleson, that was at Big Machine Records at the time. Okay. And she's the one that actually got me to town, and she'd messaged me on Instagram. She'd heard me doing a cover.
Oh, did you?
And she was just like, hey, I don't know what you're doing, if you're even wanting to really pursue music. She's like, but I think that you could probably have a shot at this if you move to town. And so the next week I, came down and met with her. And so from that point, she really mentored me a lot, getting me in those writing rooms and kind of guiding me along.
Writing up guys that, they can really help you own your craft.
Yeah, absolutely.
We always say if you write, and it's with everything. See, in sports, Johnny Bench always used to say, play baseball against guys that are better than you because you learn from them. And it's probably the same thing in music.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that, I think I'd written like a handful of songs by myself. Uh-huh. And then when I got to Nashville and started writing with some of these writers,
it's like, I'm getting serious.
I was just like, well,
yeah,
I'm not very good.
I imagine you had some talent.
Yeah, I was like, man, I got a long way to go.
But you learned.
Yeah.
So there's two really things. The first one, we play those writers' rounds and, do the socials. Do the social thing. Get your song and music out there.
Yeah.
I know people that, I'm not like this, but I know people that got 3 or 4 a day. I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. Good for you. Yeah. You do you, I'll do me.
Yeah.
But did you do that a lot? Did you put a lot of songs out there or a lot of performances?
I didn't release anything for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was mainly social media. And we did, I played, the writers' rounds. Yeah. And done that kind of thing. But as far as putting out songs, I mean, I was at least 4 years into it before I put out a song.
Wow.
So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the first song I heard from you.
Yeah.
An amazing song, and you're going to play it live.
Yeah.
Kelsey Hart is our guest, and this is the Songwriter Connection.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection with Dave Linehan. Find us on Facebook and YouTube at the Songwriter Connection Podcast, and find Dave at thedaveconnection.com. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
Before we get back to the show, this is the time I remind you, if you're watching on YouTube, and I know it's just an audio podcast like radio on YouTube, okay? You just like and subscribe, because that does help us, okay? And help us spread the word. And don't forget about our Spotify playlist, which is the Songwriter Connection, the songs. Every Wednesday when we publish, that day's guest gets a song or two added to that playlist, and it gets bigger and badder every week. You'll hear a lot of really cool songs. We had some really cool songwriters on this show over the years. So, again, thanks for joining us. The New Faces show at the Country Radio Seminar in Nashville just 2 weeks ago. This gentleman was named as one of the new faces, the ones you really want to watch. And it's Kelsey Hart. Kelsey, again, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, buddy.
First time I heard the song Life With You, I'm like, there it is. That is the wedding song that every girl is going to want the first dance with. And I used to do a lot of weddings when I was a DJ. And I could just see all of these DJs go, oh, we got to have that one, that's for sure. And was your wedding dance, wasn't it?
It sure was, man.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Tell us a story about this song.
Yeah, so my buddy and I, Kyle Schlinger and Scott Stepikoff, wrote the song. I guess it was my wife and I at the time. We had been dating for like a year and a half, and we were doing the long distance thing.
Yeah,
and since she moved to Nashville, I think maybe that week or within a couple weeks before we written Life With You, and I remember getting home and showing her the song, and she just said, I know we're not engaged. I know we're not, there yet. She's like, but this is going to be our first dance song, like when we are.
Wow.
And so fast forward, year and a half later, the song hadn't been like officially recorded. This was just the demo of the song. And we played that at our wedding and had our first dance to that song.
Wow.
And somebody had recorded it, and we posted it on TikTok, and it just had, and not really with the intentions of, trying to boost the song or anything. I mean, we were sharing our first dance.
What's your personal moment?
Yeah.
To share? Yeah.
And man, it just, it caught on, and just had such a moment on TikTok where, so many people were sharing it and asking like, or saying like, hey, we're about to get married and we want to know, how can we get this song? But the song wasn't out.
Yeah.
So we pretty quickly was, scrambling to how we were going to get it out. And we ended up doing like a link for people to get the song early.
I love it.
That was going to use it for their first dance. And there was hundreds of people that submitted to get the song early that we sent to them.
Wow.
And so they got to dance to the song before the song ever came out.
Wow.
And
there's people out there bragging about that.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool thing to be able to do.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then once the song was released, just seeing how many people were using it as their first dance, and it was obviously super special for me and my wife, but also very cool to have a song that so many people felt like they could really relate to.
That's payday, I think. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And you'll get people coming up to you.
Yeah.
For as long as you do this, saying, that's my wedding song.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to know.
Yeah. No, that was and even still with, at meet and greets and whatnot, that's like
absolutely,
that's the centerpiece. People come up and they'll share their story with me.
That's cool. So, we play it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
The story behind it. So let's play it. It's an amazing song, folks. If you haven't heard it, crank it up.
If you're on a porch swing, baby, I'm on it. If you want a night out, baby, I'm all in. If you want a coin flip road trip, anywhere you want to go, Baby, just call it. If you're on a dance floor, moving them out there. Wanna find some laid back and let down your brown hair. Well, you call the shots if I'm ready or not. I don't care. 'Cause baby, I love doing life with you. You're everything I wanna wake up to. Give you all of my heart, the moon and the stars, till my time here on earth is through. 'Cause I just love, baby, I love doing life with you. Well, I ain't gonna be there just for the sunshine. I'll hold your hand while we stand in the rain. I'll be your forever and not just your sometime. I'll be your calm in a hurricane. 'Cause baby, I love doing life with you. You're everything I wanna wake up to. Give you all of my heart, the moon and the stars, till my time here on earth is through. 'Cause I just love, baby, I love doing life with you. Yeah. Thought I was good on my own, taking life on the low, but that was before my heart had a home. Baby, I love doing life with you. You're everything I wanna wake up to. Give you all of my heart, the moon and the stars, till my time here on earth is through. 'Cause I just love doing life with you. Doing life with you.
Kelsey Hart on our Songwriter Connection podcast today. Great song, it really is. I've always find, and I don't know what it is, maybe it's just me, I always find the love songs the hardest ones to write. Because I feel like there's probably 100,000 just in this town every day that get written. And I think it's all been said. Except, and you take a look at a song like this. Mm-hmm. I love doing life with you. You know, again, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, so
you got to come with a different way, don't you?
Yeah, and you know, I had that title in my phone for a while.
Did you really?
Because that was something that, I'd heard people say a bunch.
Yeah.
And you even like in my wife always has me at like a Hobby Lobby or some place like that. It's like I've even seen those like signs. It's like love doing life with you or life with you.
I've not seen that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so I remember just putting that title down in my phone and, kind of sitting on it for a little while.
Yeah.
And, I felt like, around that time that Omni and I was, she was moving here from Utah. It just kind of felt right. And so that's where it came from.
Fantastic. I love those stories behind the songs. You keep a hook book in your phone. Yeah.
Well, I feel like my hook book used to be a lot better. And now it's like the busier I get when I go into writes, I'm like, I don't have near as many ideas now.
Is it different now as being the artist that goes into the room?
Yeah, it's very a lot of times as soon as you sit down, especially if it's writers that haven't been, in the same room with you a ton.
Right.
They've heard some of my stuff, but the first question is what are you looking for? What do we need to aim at today? Mm-hmm. But after writing songs for as long as I have, it's like my answer to that most of the time is like, I think I've pretty much covered every subject at this point. It's more about how can we beat what we've got.
What we have.
When I think about tempo and love songs and just all the different lanes, it's like we've covered them. At this point, it's seeing if we can beat it.
I had one writer who was also on this podcast, first big write that he had with a hit writer and a big hit writer. He had like 10 hooks that he threw out. He wrote that one, wrote it, wrote that, and we wrote that, and I wrote that, wrote that one too. So you get to that point.
Yeah. Oh, that's a real thing because if you've been in town for years, and a lot of the people you're in rooms with have too.
Yeah.
So when you're pitching ideas, A lot of times people in the room's like, I can't do that.
And think about when you're pitching to a label or to an artist or an A&R person, they've heard it all too.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have a fresh idea, right?
Yeah.
A fresh take on it, you're in trouble, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's, and I like writing from an idea, and I've changed on this over the years. And tell me if you're the same. I'd come up with a progression or a melody that I just love, and occasionally I still do. But I think it's a lot harder to find an idea to go with that melody than it is to start with the idea to begin with.
Yeah.
And then lay that idea out on the table and look at it from every angle, which is, what aren't we seeing? What can we do to make that idea?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, it starts in so many different ways. I mean, I really I get more excited about going into write when I kind of have a title that I'm really excited about writing.
Yeah.
Because, if you do have that solid idea, I mean, you're showing up to write with, great writers and great producers. You can really mold the rest of it, but that idea is the centerpiece.
It really is. I really think it is. And the last time I went with a melody before, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Could never find an idea that I thought was worthy of the melody.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. So it happens both ways, I imagine.
Yeah, it happens all kinds of different ways, and
because sometimes that melody will sing to you what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, and then like my producer, he'll have sometimes 10, 15 tracks that he's pre-built before write, and we'll just, if we don't have anything that we're like that jumps out to us idea-wise, we'll sit there and listen to the whole, all of his tracks that he's built, and just kind of, sometimes ideas will just jump out by hearing the track.
It does sometimes.
So,
like I always say, sometimes it sings to you. And then what is it saying? What is that melody saying to you? I've said that to folks.
Yeah.
What is that melody saying to you right now? Because it's a language of its own, really, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, really, it really is. I read another thing that's interesting. In 2024, you had one of those moments where, am I dreaming? I have to pinch myself. You stepped into the circle at the Grand Ole Opry.
I sure did.
What did you sing?
Well, I think in my head, like I was mentally preparing for it. I knew it was going to be, the most nervous I'd ever been in my whole life.
Was it?
And
because you could go, this is another show. It's not another show.
It's not. Well, that's the thing. You can tell yourself that all you want to.
Yeah, right.
But I remember being back then. I was doing pretty good until like I stepped like side stage and like looked out there, and I was like, oh man. I was like, yep, I'm more nervous than I thought.
Yeah.
But it was an awesome night. I had, pretty much everybody in my family, all my friends.
Oh, wow.
It was a full house that night. And, I just don't think it could have felt any more special than it did. It was...
And did you nail it?
I did, I think. Yeah. I took a moment... because I knew I'd like black out once I went out there, and I was just like, midway through, I just stopped and I was like, okay. I even told the crowd, I was like, I'm just going to look around for a second. I was like, because this is crazy.
Take that moment in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. And to step into that sacred circle.
Yeah. And once I feel like, once I got out there, I did like feel comfortable, but it was just that, it's just such, anytime you anticipate such a big moment, you can't help but get like a little worked up.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping someday that they're going to invite you into that circle and a member. You never know.
Hey, let's put that out in the world.
That's manifested.
Yeah.
You got some big moments ahead of you, I really think, because you've got great songs. You're a great performer, great voice. And I'm excited to see what the next thing is for you.
Well, thank you, man.
I really am. How about another song? Maybe you got something new you can share with us?
So I was, you was talking about new stuff. I was just thinking about, so kind of a little quick story behind the song here.
Yeah. We love the stories behind the
story behind the song. So this was a song that Matt Alderman and Nate Kenyon, they're co-writers on it. And my buddy Nate had the idea of, you've heard the Ray Charles Hit the Road Jack.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Nate, we got there that day, and he's just like, man, he's like, I've been thinking about this thing. What if we write a song called "She Hit the Road Jack," talking to Jack Daniels. and we're gonna need a little help from Jack to get through this.
Cool idea.
And I thought it was a super cool idea, and the song turned out cool. And so the last few months it was just kind of figuring out how we could get the rights to the song and everything. And we've gotten all that straightened out and recorded the song.
Did that original writer? Ray didn't write that, did he?
No, it's Percy Mayfield.
Percy Mayfield.
Yeah, so it was a solo write.
And so you got to get it signed off by his publishing, right?
So his they actually have like the Ray Charles Foundation.
Okay.
That we had to go through to get it approved.
So do they get a portion of the song? I'm asking these questions because I really don't know. People have asked me before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They get a portion.
Because it is it's his the melody and that stuff in the chorus. So.
Okay. All right. Good.
And I hadn't played it much, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. I can't wait to hear this. What a great idea.
Man, I hate to do this, lean on you like a crutch. I got some real bad news. That girl I love, she packed her stuff. She had more than 7 reasons to pour us down the drain. She peeled off our label and then peeled out in the rain. She hit the road, Jack, and she ain't coming back no more, no more, no more. Yeah. So here we go, Jack, you and me, and a glass gon' pour, gon' pour, gon' pour. Till you give me just as gone as she is somewhere in that Ford. She hit the road, Jack, and she ain't coming back no more, no more, no more.
That's awesome, man.
I came here to kill the memory, 'cause her memory's killing me. And I've heard the guy for that job is from Lynchburg, Tennessee. If you see my glass is empty, fill it right back to the rim. And if we need some backup, just call your buddy Jim. She hit the road, Jack, she ain't coming back no more, no more, no more. So here we go, Jack, you and me, and a glass gon' pour, gon' pour, gon' pour. But till you get me just as gone as she is somewhere in that Ford. She hit the road, Jack, she ain't coming back no more, no more, no more, more. She hit the road, Jack. Figured it's worth a shot, shooting you straight since me and her already on the rocks. She hit the road, Jack. She hit the road, Jack. She ain't coming back no more, no more, no more. So here we go, Jack, you and me, and a glass gon' pour, gon' pour, gon' pour. But till you get me just as gone as she is somewhere in that Ford. She hit the road, Jack. She ain't coming back no more, no more, no more, more.
People ask me all the time, what is a hit today? What is a hit? And I go, well, you have to understand, I'm the guy that passed on Garth Brooks the first time his record crossed my desk. So I don't really know, but I'll always say when I hear one, I know it. And I think that's a hit. That's clever. Did you record that?
Yeah, it's recorded.
It's recorded. Is it out there yet?
It's going to be coming out. Yeah, it's going to be coming out.
You got an album coming out this year?
So we're just doing kind of rolling with singles for the first part of the year, and then just still kind of talking about what a project looks like on the backside of the year.
Yeah, okay. And I think that's a cool strategy. A lot of people are doing that. I'm doing that right now, just releasing singles, and maybe eventually we'll do the albums.
Yeah.
But it's a singles world today, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, man. I think, the every couple months is where we're at, getting a single out there, just trying to keep new music in
every
front of
couple
people.
of months.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And that seems to be kind of the thing. And if it works out to where we can roll into a project towards the end of the year, I think the music we definitely have a lot of songs that I'm excited to get out. So hopefully we can roll it into a project by the end of the year.
And I imagine right now you're getting pitched tons of songs on a daily basis.
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to listen to all of them. I
really?
I don't want to miss nothing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really amazing. You talk about, I wanted to ask you, as a songwriter, don't you love it when you hear a song for the first time and you go, dang, I wish I'd have wrote that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that idea was out there. Where did I?
Yeah.
Do you have one like that today? That you go, I wish I'd have wrote that.
Oh, man. I think like The House That Built Me, Miranda Lambert. I know that's a lot of people say that, but I think it's for a good reason. I mean, it's just an incredible song.
Tom was on the show, and he's just one of the nicest guys. Have you met him yet?
Who is it?
Tom Douglas.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Tom and Alan Shamblin wrote that song. And by the way, if you'd like to, you should hear that episode because the story behind that song is absolutely amazing. So go back and find Tom Douglas on Songwriter Connection podcast. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the thing about that song is it took them like 10 years to write it.
No kidding.
The first time they wrote it, it was very long, and the publisher went, okay, what else you got?
Yeah.
But when they learned, they didn't have the line before the hook, which I think is the most important line. They didn't have it. And eventually they came back and looked at it, and they found that line, and everything fell into place, and boom, there you go.
Yeah.
So songs like that, they're inspiration. When you see, I mean, it's like a perfectly fitted puzzle. Everything, there's no rough edges,
Yeah.
Another song like that for me was I Drive Your Truck.
Oh, so good.
When you listen to that song, not only is it an emotional thing, but I mean, you look, as a songwriter, folks, listen, this is really important. The way every verse connected to that chorus. Every verse ended with the next logical thing being that chorus.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the magic of songwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel the same way?
Yeah. Absolutely. I remember as a young guy in town, some of the first writes I was in, just getting advice from songwriters. And
I was going to ask you if there was one piece of advice one of these songwriters said to you.
Thinking back on that, I mean, there was a guy, Jay Brunswick was his name, and I had to be my first couple months in town, and I remember just like wanting so bad to like be able to, participate more in the writing process. And I felt like I was like, I am the new guy. I don't know a lot, but I'm like, man, I want to figure this out and know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was just kind of spitting out lines that probably didn't even apply to what was going on. And I remember Jay, after the write, he's like, hey, man, he's like, if you can, he's like, look at that hook, look at the title. Mm-hmm. And he's like, if you can somehow connect, every line that's in this song needs to go back to that title. You need to be able to say that line and then connect it to the title.
Yeah.
And, that was just like almost kind of like a light bulb moment for me, to where I was just like, oh, yeah. I was like, and that really helps you, like when you're writing a song, just to keep it all together and be writing towards the hook of the song. And
every line got to point to that hook, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially the first line.
Yeah. And I just thought that was like a very, like you would think, now like looking back on it, I'm like, well, why didn't I, like it seems like pretty apparent that that's what it's got to be. But at that early on, man, that was a big piece of advice for me as a new songwriter.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. That's a good point. And that is a good one. Yeah. It really is. Mm-hmm. So I hope you learned something today too.
Yeah.
Man, thanks for the journey through your career.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having us out here.
I want people to find you online, and it's you've got a great webpage. And where can we find you?
Yeah, Kelsey Hart Music. It covers everything.
Curb Records, Kelsey Hart. And man, I just wish you all the best in the future. Thank you for taking the time to come out to Hermitage and being on this show.
Well, thank you for having me, sir.
All the best. Folks, thanks for listening. We'll join you next week. And what I always say,
it's a wrap.
Right on.
Dining room table. Thanks for joining the conversation and chasing the music with us. From Nashville, Tennessee, this is the Songwriter Connection, the award-winning elite music podcast of the year, connecting the songs and the people who write them.